I want to give all the praise, all the glory, all the honor unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rekah, Kodash. Double honors goes out to the elder apostles of Great Millstone for teaching me the truth. Also, want to acknowledge all the Akyam who are pushing the truth with sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. And I'm just going to read Philippians, the first chapter, for this lesson. It says, Paul and Timotheus, the servants of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, to all the saints in Yahweh Shai HaMashiach which are at Philippi, with the bishops and deacons. Alright, so, like always, want to point out, who is Paul writing this letter to? He's writing it to the saints, alright, in Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, the ones who are at Philippi. And we know the saints are only Israelites, alright? So everything this whole book is about is all written for the Israelites. I just want to make that point and reminder. This is grace be unto you, and peace from the Most High our Father, and from the Lord Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. I thank my power, God, Yahweh, upon every remembrance of you. Always in every prayer of mine, for you all making requests with joy. And that's the spirit we should do. We should be in. We should make prayers for the brotherhood all the time. Every time we pray, pray for the elders, pray for the brothers, pray for, your family. Pray for the elect, the hopeful elect. Verse 5, says, for your fellowship in the gospel from the first day until now, being confident of this very thing, that he which hath begun a good work in you will perform it until the day of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. All right. So we're supposed to be confident with his knowledge, confident in this truth, confident in our faith. Actually, that's what that word confident in the etymology, it goes back to with faith. That's what it means. All right, it means with faith. Verse 7, even as it is meet for me to think this of you all, because I have you in my heart, inasmuch as both in my bonds and in the defense and confirmation of the gospel, ye are all partakers of my grace. And having you in the heart, it's talking about in the mind. You think about the brotherhood, when you say your prayers, you go to think about the brothers, maybe the ones you've met in the truth, maybe the ones you've seen on the YouTube. We pray for the brotherhood, Verse 8. For the Most High is my record, how greatly I long after you all in the bowels of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. And this I pray, that your love may abound yet more and more in knowledge and in all judgment. Right, and remember, love goes back to obedience. So we're obedient in the knowledge, and we're obedient in the judgment. We understand the Lord's judgments. That's why we fear. That's part of the reason why we fear Yahweh Bashem Yahshai, because we understand the judgments. All right, he could easily judge one of the brotherhood, of the brethren. If we don't, watch our P's and Q's, we can be judged too. Being filled with the fruits of the righteousness which are by Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, unto the glory and praise of the Most High. But I would ye should But I would ye should understand, brethren, that thing which happened unto me have fallen out rather unto the furtherance of the gospel. So whether it's good or bad, whatever happens to us, it's for furtherance of the gospel. All right, let me get that word furtherance real quick. Let me see what it actually goes into. We're checking the blue letter first here. Oh shit, I hit the wrong button. Salakia, brothers. I'm trying to get this pulled up here. Okay, here we go. Oh shit. Alright, let me see. Alright, let me play it and see if you can hear it.
Strong's G 4297. Prakape.
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 That's how you say it. Let me see, I'm gonna play that one more time with a little more volume.
Strong's G 4297. Prakape. Prakape.
That's what furtherance in Greek. That's how you say it. But let's get it. The meaning of it. Progress. All right, advancement. So let's read it with now that we have the understanding of the word. But I would ye should understand, brethren, that things which happen unto me have fallen out rather unto furtherance of the gospel. So progress, advancement, that's what it is. Everything that we do in this truth, when we're diligent, we're going to advance and make progress with, with our growth with the truth. It says, so that my bonds in Yahushai are manifest in all places, in all the palace and in all other places. And many of the brethren in the Lord, waxing confident by my bonds, are much more bold to speak the word without fear. So Paul, he was actually put in prison. So that's what he's talking about, right? So, and he's put in prison for the gospel. All right. So let me read that again. And many of the brethren in the Lord, waxing confident by my bonds, are much more bold to speak the word without fear. Right, so that's how we are. That's the same spirit we're in. We're prepared. Hopefully, if you're in this truth, you're prepared, and you're spiritually and mentally prepared to. That you may have to go to a prison because of your testimony. You may have to go in a FEMA camp eventually because of your testimony of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. We know through the spirit, and we know through the truth that this, the government has dossiers on all of us who are in the streets teaching. Let me get that word real quick. Dossier. All right, let's see. Watch. It says, what is a dossier? A dossier is a collection of papers containing information on a particular event or on a person, such as a criminal or a spy. The company is compiling a dossier of evidence to back its allegations. Right, so these devils are documenting us. They're taking our facial recognition, on the videos in the streets, on the videos on the YouTube. They got all kinds of stuff, right? That they can, and eventually they'll probably more than likely turn around and make false accusations on the majority of the men in the truth. So if you're not in the spirit of getting ready and being bold, and we're here speaking teaching the gospel without fear. And guess what? You can't have fear because there could be a time when we're going to have to be hemmed up, where the authorities could very well, arrest us. They arrested Yahushua for treason. For treason. Let me get that word treason for you real quick. Treason definition.
Here's the definition of treason. The crime of betraying one's country, especially by attempting to kill the sovereign or overthrow the government.
In similar words to treason, I let the computer read it out for us. But, the crime of betraying one's country, especially attempting to kill the sovereign or overthrow the government. And we're not here trying to kill the king or anything like that, but we're this is the beginning of the overthrow of the government of Esau Edom, the prophets standing on their feet. Then eventually Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua is going to finish the job, right? But right now all we're doing is teaching the word. And that's all we're going to do until we get delivered. Another word for treason is betrayal or disloyalty. Right, so they arrested Yahushua because he was, according to them, he betrayed Roman government. He betrayed the Caesar, right? He wasn't, and that's what we do. We're speaking against the leaders of this place. We're speaking against the country, the government. So it's the same thing that Yahushua did that we're doing. And that's why we're vulnerable. And it could be here in the near future of this different charges and accusations that could be of treason, that could, land us up in a prison or a FEMA camp. But that's why he's saying, let me read it again. And many of the brethren in the Lord, waxing confident by my bonds, are much more bold to speak the word without fear. So that's what we do. We speak this truth. We teach it on the streets with authority and without fear. And why? Because we're in the same spirit as Yahushua HaMashiach, and also, like we're reading Philippians, which was an epistle of Paul. All right, so reading 15. Some indeed preach Hamashiach even of envy and strife, and some also of goodwill. The one preach Yahushua Hamashiach of contention, not sincerely, supposing to add affliction to my bonds. But the other of love, knowing that I am set for the defense of the gospel. And that's our main thing. We're here to defend the gospel. If you're one of the servants of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, and you're one of the hopeful elect, and more specifically, one of the saints, one of the prophets, your duty is to defend the gospel. And what does that mean? To defend the gospel means you're supposed to just do that. If somebody is speaking or teaching this truth with this knowledge, and they're not teaching it with sound doctrine, you should be able to correct that person. Confront them with correction. All right? Let's keep reading. What then, notwithstanding every way, whether in pretense or in the truth, Hamashiach is preached, and I therein do rejoice, and I will rejoice. Right, so we preach Yahushua. We don't preach Jesus Christ, we preach Yahushua. We teach the true gospel. We defend the true gospel. When you're out here pushing the white Jesus Christ, guess what? You're not defending the gospel. You're adding confusion. All right? Where are we at? 19. For I know that this shall turn to my salvation through your prayer and the supply of the Spirit of Yahushua HaMashiach. All right? So what's that mean? That mean this is what is going to give us salvation. Defending the gospel. Teaching it without fear. Teaching it with authority. Teaching the sound doctrine. Pushing the true names. You know, not doing all this other bullshit that all these other people on the planet Earth, you know, all these false prophets, they're out of order, they're out of line, they're teaching doctrines of devils, which that's not something the true men, we're not going to do that. 20. According to my earnest expectation and my hope, that in nothing I shall be ashamed, but that with all boldness, as always, so now also Hamashiach shall be magnified in my body, whether it be by life or by death. I'm sorry, I'm reading that again. According to my earnest expectation and my hope, that in nothing I shall be ashamed, but that with all boldness, as always, so now also Yahushai shall be magnified in my body, whether it be by life or by death. Okay, so that's what it is, brothers. We should never be ashamed of this gospel. We should never be ashamed of this truth, even if it means we have to die, right? And we glorify Yahushai while we're alive, while we're out here, you know, pushing this truth, defending the gospel, you know. But if we die, well, guess what? We're glorified there too, because become a martyr for this truth is a high honor. All right, it's a high honor. If you die for this testimony, man, you've secured your place as a saint, and you know, martyrship. It's a heavy thing. You know, and either way, you know, but again, you gotta, if you're glorifying the truth, you're glorifying Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, you have to do it soundly. Otherwise, you're not glorifying. If you're teaching a false doctrine, if you're teaching lies, if you're teaching anything that's not in line with the way the elders and the way the men on the street corners are teaching this doctrine. If you're off, you know, you got to make sure you're on point with the parables. You know, you can't go off with the history, with the parables, with the prophecies. You know, you got to be able to be on point. Otherwise, it's for nothing. There's no profit if you're not doing it you're not teaching it soundly. All right. 21. For to me to live in Hamashiach and to die is gain. But if I live in the flesh, this is the fruit of my labor, yet what I shall choose I wot not. For I am in a strait betwixt two, having the desire to be part and to be with Yahushai Hamashiach, which is far better. Nevertheless, to abide in his flesh is more needful for you. So Paul, he's telling you, hey, he would, you know, he'd rather be with Yahushua Mashiach. What's that mean? That mean he would have to be a martyr to be with Yahushua Mashiach, right? But it's more profitable. It's more needy for the brotherhood. He was there for the brotherhood. He was there as like, it'd be like, you know, and you know, it's everything through the Spirit. But let's just say one of the elders had passed away, or one of somebody, you know, one of the head of the camps or whatever, you know, then that person right now is technically, we need the elders. We need our leaders of our camps, right? Even though maybe they would rather be with Yahushua HaMashiach, you know, in the spirit realm. But at this point, it's a needful thing for us to have our teachers. You see? It says, and having this confidence, well, let me read 24 again. Nevertheless, to abide in the flesh is more needful for you. So for Paul to be in the flesh it's going to be more needful for the brothers, the disciples. 25. And having this confidence, I know that I shall abide and continue with you all for the furtherance and of joy. For the furtherance, there's that word again. So he's like, he has confidence that he's going to be with the brothers for our advancement, right? For our progress in this knowledge. 26. That your rejoicing may be more abundant in Yahushua HaMashiach for me by my coming to you again. Right. 27. Only let your conversation be as it becometh the gospel of Hamashiach, that whether I come and see you or else be absent, that I may hear your affairs, that ye stand fast in one spirit, with one mind, striving together for the faith of the gospel. So this one dealing with integrity, making sure, hey, we're in the right spirit, we all have one mind, we're like-minded, right? The prophets are all like-minded. Whether we be in Denver, whether we be in Phoenix, whether we be in Chicago, whether we be in New York, whether we be in Germany, whether we be in Mexico. You know what I'm saying? We are all like-minded, and what gives us that like-minded ability is the truth, keeping with sound doctrine. You can't be speaking one thing here in Denver, and then you're not speaking the same thing as the brothers in Phoenix are saying, or the brothers in New Jersey, or the elders in New York, or the elders in Connecticut. Then you're going off. But whether they're here, like we have had elders come visit our camps, it doesn't mean that, when the elders are here, we're going to be like-minded, we're going to be on sound doctrine, but then when they're gone, we're going to be speaking something else. No, that's what it's talking about. You have to all be teaching one accord, one spirit, one mind, all right? And in nothing terrified by your adversaries, which is to them an evident token of perdition, but to you of salvation and that of the Most High. See, so we don't have to be afraid of our adversaries. You see, we have our mindset and our eyes set on, focused on salvation, and we know that by doing what we're doing, teaching and preaching, enduring, this is what's going to bring us salvation, our faith, because you have to be ready to die for this truth. And we know that the majority of us are not going to die according to prophecy, but we know that some will. And this is the spirit too, reading this, because this is the time we're coming into. Shit's about to turn up. The heat, Esau's about to turn up the heat. He's starting out with his mass deportations. That's going to be the first thing he's going to turn the heat up on. And wait for this thing to really, I'll use this word that I learned, furtherance. Once everything becomes in furtherance, meaning in advancement or in progress, well, he's going to start going after, people who are not hearkening to his laws, his draconian laws, including the micro-CHIP. So that thing's going to turn things up, So basically, this chapter, from what we've read here, it's going into, reestablishing that, hey, we got to move without fear. We got to teach this truth without fear, because we know that it's eventually it's going to be a perilous thing. It's going to be a dangerous thing. It's going to be something that could land us up behind bars or even killed. They have those dossiers that I was telling you about on us. Things are about to progress furtherance is about to be happening, right? Advancement. And this includes with the prophecies. And we know that some of the prophecies are dealing, well, we know Jacob's trouble is going to be crazy as hell. We know the us losing, getting put in a guillotine. We know that's a prophecy. So shit's going to start getting crazy. So it's time to really get zoned in and focused in and really, really be on our P's and Q's when it comes to this knowledge, when it comes to this truth. All right, because shit's about to get real out here, man. And we don't know the day or the hour when everything's going to heat up. But we can see by measuring the time diligently that, if you look at the news, it looks pretty much like it's getting very close. So we can't just ignore the signs. That's why it says in the Apocrypha, measure the time diligently. So you know which time you're in. All right, verse 29. For unto you it is given in the behalf of Hamashiach, not only to believe on him, but also to suffer for his sake. So there you go. We know we have to suffer. A lot of us are going to, well, not a lot of us, we're all going to suffer. But some of that suffering is going to go all the way. You're going to have to suffer unto death, some of us. So remember, this book speaks about all things written aforetime was written for our learning, KJV. I'm just trying to pull the verse up for the screen. Oops.
Romans 15, verse 4.
Romans 15 and 4.
According to BibleHub.com,
Hold on.
Romans 15, verse 4.
That was too much. It went too hard in the paint on that one. Let me get it. Romans 15 and 4. I just wanted to grab the verse. Romans 15 and 4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. So everything's written for our learning. What I'm reading here in the Philippians, the first chapter, is written for our learning and so that we know, what times we're in, what's about to come upon us. We already know Esau's going to move in like a flood, with his UN troops. He's got an agenda. So we need to be, we need to be dialed in. We need to be ready for, we need to be circumspect, moving in the spirit, moving, like a wise as a serpent, as harmless as a dove right now. Because eventually, some of us may be hemmed up by this devil. And if you are, guess what? That's all right, man. That's why it's written aforetime for our learning, because Paul said, don't move with fear. Don't teach with fear. All right? Let's read 30. Having the same conflict which he saw in me and now here to be in me. See, so he says, having the same conflict which he saw in me and now here to be in me. What was his conflict? He was put in prison. So he's saying, look, some of y'all are going to go to prison too. Some of y'all are going to get locked up too. Some of y'all are, some of y'all are put to death. So we're coming into some heavy, serious times. And this is all we got to do is just keep our trust in Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, all right? So with that, I want to give all the praise, all the glory, all the honor unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Rakakodash. Double honors goes out to the elder apostles of Great Millstone for teaching me the truth. Also want to acknowledge Al Akyam, who are pushing the truth with sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. And shalom to the elect. Shalom.